Look Outreach is underwritten by the generous support of Munter Enterprises. Family owned and operated since 1972, integrity is important, as our family name is on every project. Our word is our bond. Munter Enterprises. Just build it.
Welcome back, everyone. I did an interview recently with John Coppola, and one thing that he said to me, he's very involved in the opioid pandemic. And when I said to him, I said, why are you calling it a pandemic? And he said, because epidemic just doesn't really cover the facts. That's a pretty scary proposition. It made me think about the other people that I've interviewed, and name always comes up, Ashley Livingston, who has not only lived through recovery herself, but has sort of really dedicated her life to helping others in recovery. And I thought about another friend of mine, Chris Collins here, who with another friend of mine, Mike Romanowski, started Freedom Machines as a way to give people an opportunity to challenge themselves if they were going through recovery. So I asked them both to come in, and they brought a special guest, Max, who works with Chris in Freedom Machines. So welcome, everybody. Nice to have you here.
Nice to see you again.
Ash, when I interviewed John, and I forget the name of the organization, he's executive director, ASAP, thank you. I knew you'd know what it was. That really struck me very hard, that it's a pandemic and not an epidemic.
I say this all the time.
It isn't this thing you can sweep under the rug, that it's probably the most serious social crisis in modern times.
It is. It's like a commercial plane falling out of the sky every day. That's how many people we're losing to this pandemic. I just brought this up at another meeting where I was like, it's not even an epidemic, it's a pandemic.
Yes.
And so.
That's really something.
And John's a good guy, so.
Now, you have dedicated a lot of your time, of course, to the Hope and Recovery Center, which is located in Hudson Falls on Maple Ave. And you've been doing these wonderful things, like at City Park, planting the tree of hope, right? We covered that. You're always doing walks and putting people who are ready to face recovery, putting them in touch with resources. Mm-hmm. So you've got a walk that's set up on Friday, this coming Friday, at City Park again, right?
Yes. So the Dean family, Bob Dean, came to Friends of Recovery Warren and Washington committee meeting, which we meet the third Wednesday of every month. Mm-hmm. And he said that his family wanted to they were putting together a walk. So we helped with that process in terms of, there's certain codes and stuff they have to do within the city. And then Freedom Machines helped as well, and a bunch of other organizations. We're like, hey, yeah, we'll like to come and provide resources, and we got some speakers, so I'm really excited for this Friday. So we're going to meet at the gazebo, which is right across from our Tree of Hope, which I planted with my hands with Catherine.
I know. We were
and
there.
I love that tree. It's getting big. And so we're going to have the Assemblyman Dan Stack, Sheriff Murphy, and Dan Hall, and then Bob Dean will speak in the beginning.
You know what? Let me just interrupt you just for a second there. Okay. Bob Dean, I know you're probably thinking, I know I've heard that name. We covered this story. Bob lost his sister and his brother, right?
Yeah.
To this opioid pandemic, and is sort of dedicated, think about that kind of loss, and has sort of dedicated himself to help others as well,
and
correct?
So right. So they are doing this for Angie and obviously Sean, but to kind of raise awareness about substance use disorders and overdose. Mm-hmm. They kind of want to bring the community together, which we do on a regular basis, so we were more than obliged to help with that. We'll have a bunch of resources available, and we'll be doing, it's a very short walk, it's 1.3 miles. Mm-hmm. And then when we come back, more members of the Dean family will share. We're going to have people that will be singing, and all of the local organizations will have their resources available for individuals, because it's a really hard subject. Like, a lot of people are in a lot of pain over this, whether they lost someone or someone that they love is struggling. And so we don't want to just kind of be like, hey, let's raise awareness, now go home and do whatever. We want them to have the necessary resources. So we'll have...
Well, you know what? Talking about resources, that's what Freedom Machines do. And you and Mike were here for an interview.
Yes.
And, there's a number of ways They always say you can't begin until you're ready to start. That's not the easiest thing in the world. Sometimes people will not open up in a structured environment. They're uncomfortable about it. They're embarrassed about it. And what Freedom Machines do is you give people an opportunity to get out in an environment. And you made a comment to me, Chris, that really stayed in my mind, that people that generally don't talk, when they go on a ride and they're challenged, they open up.
Yes, it's a different atmosphere. They get a feeling of relating to each other when we're out there riding, and by the time we get back from a ride, we know the whole story of what's going on, and they finally opened up. They're more open with their counselors. You know, it's just a different environment.
It's a different environment, you know, and that's what you're really trying to do. You're trying to provide people with options. So Max here works with you.
Hey,
yes, he
hi.
does.
Hello, Max. So you help him prepare the bikes and deliver the bikes, right?
I was, yes.
I see. What do you like about delivering the bicycles?
Well, I love bikes. Yeah.
You like bringing them to people?
Well, yeah.
Well, I know that everybody really appreciates your help. I know they do.
I think, yes.
Yeah, I bet they do. So this Friday at 3 o'clock at City Park, not Crandall Park, City Park, which is next to Crandall Library, but it's right downtown Glens Falls. There's going to be a walk, and after the walk and during the walk and whatever, there'll be a lot of people that can share stories and also offer support at a number of different levels and some resources. This is a pandemic. It's not going to pass unless society makes a concerted effort to deal with this, right?
And the night before at the Hope and Healing Recovery Center, we're going to be making posters. So if anybody would like to come join us, it'll be from 5 to 7, and they maybe have someone that they want to make a poster for specifically, they're more than welcome to join us.
Okay, great. Well, Ashley, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having
Max,
me.
very pleasure to meet you.
Oh, my pleasure, yeah.
Great. And Chris, thank you for coming in as well.
You did good.
Thank you.
Don't forget, Friday, 3 o'clock, City Park in Glens Falls. Show your support. Get there. See this interview again. You can head to our website, lookTVonline.com.